to keep them from demanding physical delivery, they're paying them premiums of 50 to 80% more than the actual price of silver, not to take the silver.
Correct. Yeah, we're hearing that as well, and it's dramatic. I think the little tiny box that J.P. Morgan has found itself in continues to get smaller by the week. And what do you think about the Chinese coming to the rescue? Because at the end of the day, some rogue former J.P. Morgan traders that are now trying to take advantage of this, those guys might settle for paper premiums, but the Chinese, they want physical.
Well, yeah, really what they're trying to do is unwind dollars. The dollar is, in my estimation, the last place that a person would want to store a lot of their net worth, and it's getting worse, not better, as we look forward. I think there's something happening, and it's happening in gold as well as silver, and it's very fascinating. When the ETFs were introduced some years back, I was always very suspicious, partly because people like HSBC and J.P. Morgan and the companies who are the custodians and the trustees of the gold and the silver ETFs, Barclays, the rest of them, they're not the friends of gold and silver. They're the bad guys. And it gave me pause to think, what's the real motivation? Why are our banks or Wall Street related firms pushing a product that they detest? And it became clear to me that they would structure these in such a way that they would be able to control the market, and it would be to their benefit. Now, I think what's happening, and this sort of snuck up on me, and it wasn't but rather recently that the light finally went on. When you read the prospectuses of the ETFs, GLD or SLV, most of us can never take delivery. We have to be paid out in cash, which is a good reason not to think you own silver when you own paper silver in that vehicle. But it does allow for a redemption if you take out enormous amounts, tens of millions of dollars worth. You can take out the physical. So the withdrawal option is only available to very big funds, governments, hedge funds, people with enormously deep pockets. They can actually take the metal. So I think what has happened is the funds were a magnet for a great deal of capital that in the past would have gone into the physicals. Instead, it's going misguidedly into the ETFs, and there are large hoards of gold and silver that the people who are shorting, in this case, let's say J.P. Morgan, obviously they have a big stake in SLV. So they can get a lot of their silver to cover their shorting by simply withdrawing it.
Yeah, and I want to interject. John Embry agrees with you. He believes that the powers that be are sourcing silver out of the SLV ETF when they get desperate. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and the fix is in. And you're right. I think it's been a channel away from physical, which has only helped to suppress the real price of silver.
And I recall on more than one occasion, Jim Sinclair has said the people who are short and who you think are hurting you today are the ones who will be long and make all the money down the road. So, I mean, he sees that they're playing both sides of it, and by think of it like you're tugging on a string from two different directions, you can kind of get it to move across the room you want. If you're in control of the pressure on both ends of it, you can control it. I think we're seeing some of that, but that doesn't change the fact that the demand for silver is far greater than the supply. And the above-ground hoards, other than what we're seeing built up in the ETF, they have pretty much disappeared. And this is even before the average person starts to get involved as an investor. In the past, most silver usage was industrial and jewelry. Now, there are as many dollars going into silver at the U.S. Mint as going into gold. Things are changing, and it's the new pressure of the small investor buying $1,000 or $10,000 worth of silver eagles that's going to it'll rupture this whole charade, and we're entering into that era just about now.
Absolutely. And so you, sir, you see $3,000 gold and at a 15-to-1 silver to gold ratio.
$180, $190.
Yeah, it's $200
I don't know
silver.
That's the top. I mean, I think that's baked in the cake.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to understand that just because I own a precious metals company and have since 1990 does not mean that my views and the things that I write and that I talk about are to serve my own self-interest. As an individual investor, I own 40,000 ounces of physical silver. I own over $1 million in silver mining shares, and that's just in silver. I would never, ever write or talk about or promote something that I didn't believe totally and completely in myself. I have more silver than gold, way more. In fact, I just recently talked to one of my suppliers where we store a lot of our gold and silver, and I said, sell all my gold and put it all into silver.
Oh, wow.
I still have other sources of gold, but I'm moving pretty much into silver because I look at silver right now, Sean, as it's not the only way that you could make a tremendous amount of money, but it's a sure way, and it's a slam dunk. You don't have to get too creative. Buy it in any form you want. Ignore the noise of day-to-day ups and downs, the market manipulation. Sit back, take a look at your net worth in the next 2 or 3 years, and you will be a very happy person.
Yeah, I want to share this with you too, because what I've been stressing with folks on my channel is that as these supply constraints become more and more pronounced, people are going to need to have a contact, somebody they can pick up the phone and call. I think it's important. I just want to share this bit of feedback. Somebody posted this on my channel. The person is Roll the Film YouTube is their channel name, and they wrote, quote, "A great big thanks for the bullion seller recommendation by letting us know about Miles Franklin. I dealt with Derek Weinberger, one of the precious metals specialists who facilitated my international purchase with both excellent and timely communications. If you want super service, do call their number. Derek will be blah, blah, blah." And so they're very, very happy. And the reason I wanted to read that is because I do get a lot of emails from people internationally who want to know where and how to buy. So I think it's great that you guys can help fill that need.
I'd like to make just a brief comment on that.
Sure.
Derek has done a tremendous amount of business with people in Switzerland and France, also in New Zealand. There's probably not a major country that we can't ship insured product to at very competitive prices, and we can be very creative in how to do this, where they can take possession with a minimal amount of red tape and hassles and issues. With the advent of the Internet, we truly live in a global market, and don't you find it interesting that people from New Zealand to Switzerland to France have to come here to get product? Talk about a global shortage.
Well, that's what we love about you and Andy. You're both honorable guys, and you speak truth, and I just think that's great. So I really appreciate that. So, David, how do we get folks in touch with you guys so that they can make a purchase?
Well, let's do two things. I would love their business. We treasure our clients, and our Watts number is 800-822-8080. But apart from that, why don't you ring me out for everything I'm worth and start reading my daily on a daily basis? And all you have to do, you can log into our webpage at milesfranklin.com, or you can talk to the receptionist at the office or any of the brokers. Just sign up for a daily email. The feedback that I get is it is as good as anything out there at any price, and it's free. And I spend 5 or 6 hours a day in putting that together and putting out the finest information from the best sources available into something that's coherent and very fun to read and educational. So use me not only as a supplier, but read the newsletter.
Yeah, and I thank you for that, too, because I want to just weigh in and say that for folks who haven't read it, it really is great, and you pull from the Ted Butlers, and you pull from the top people, the James Turks. You pull great quotes, great current information on a daily basis. So it's not just, your perspective or your opinion.
Sean,
this is great stuff.
What I've tried to do with the newsletter, I understand that very few people have the time or the interest to do what I do, which is read, and read some more. I take 100 pages of material and condense it down to 10 or 15 of the very best and put it out on a daily basis. Maybe sometimes I'm condensing 200 pages or more of material on a daily basis. So the reader doesn't have to do all the reading I do. I do the heavy lifting. He can almost look at it as here's a synopsis of the best information that hit the market in the last 24 hours.
David Scheckman of Miles Franklin, we can't thank you enough for your time, and we look forward to speaking with you again, sir.
I hope we do, and thank you, Sean. It's a pleasure.
Hey, my pleasure. We'll talk to you soon.
Let's do it again.
As always, guys, thanks for watching. Good night.